Hey, welcome to the Nexus. I'm Paul, and we're going to be talking about the DM process. So, essentially, what my DM process is when I'm creating a world that can be for D&D or any tabletop RPG. This will be more of an overview, more of a kind of like wide-angled view of how I do it. I will go into more detail on specific areas that I kind of focus in on, like that just they'll need a little bit more kind of explanation, or and there it's a little bit more fun to kind of do that. One of the things I love about kind of TTRPGs and D&D and everything is that there's no right answer really. There's no like perfect this is the way to do it kind of thing. So you can take what you want out of the video and use it for your own process. Like comment down below if you want to know more about specific areas and stuff, and I'll record videos to do that. But one of the things that I really do enjoy about kind of creating a process or creating a story and everything like that is that I do it a lot. These are all full of different stories, different plot lines, different worlds, different magic systems, different systems overall for different kind of TTRPG systems as well, like World of Darkness, which got D&D, Netrunner, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of systems out there that I've written stories and written plots and written kind of sessions for, uh, and so I really like to do it. So I kind of honed a little bit of a process down for myself, and I've taken it from different areas. How I start this process is specifically, I think of the state of the world. I start with the state of the world. Do I want it to be post-apocalyptic? So it's just experienced a cataclysm and it's slowly kind of bringing itself out of that. The rebuild, essentially, it's now gotten from, it's essentially survived the cataclysm. It's gone through the period of real turmoil, like, conflict and turmoil and everything like that, and it's starting to rebuild. Or is it finished the rebuild? It's now flourishing in a state of peace, which is societies and kingdoms are working together in some forms. Maps have like borders are still drawn and everything, but they are more cooperative and everything, and more kind of like they remember what happened, so they've learned the lessons, and they've decided to move into kind of helping each other and be more cooperative. Or are they on the verge of conflict? Is this the first stages of like that cataclysm event kind of starting? Kingdoms at each other's throats, political turmoil, that kind of thing. So that gives me a good state to start off. Do I want it, destroyed, rebuilding, destroyed, wasteland, Mad Max, Waterworld, anything like that? Rebuilding, coming out of kind of out of that and rebuilding into a new era, peaceful or conflicted. Those kind of states of the world really kind of helps me kind of then build the history. How did they get there? What's the history? What's the history and the events that led them up to where they are now? And that kind of informs lore and uh, culture and societal builds and everything, and how the world's kind of the lessons were learned, and or the lessons are about to be learned, kind of thing. So it's very important, the history and the events of leading up to how, with the state of the world that you're in. And I'll be honest with you, the history and the events and kind of giving you the exposition about the world is very much my probably my favorite part of world building and the overall process that I've built, or that I've put together. um the history and events and the state also help you with the geography and the typography, scars that have been left behind from, like, they now have, a new mountain range has appeared because, a very powerful magic user did certain things, that kind of thing. Like, you can have monuments and landmarks built into the history and the events that occurred. And with that, so we've gone from state to history and events to leading up to where you are now, or where the world is up to now, to the integration of magic. So how is magic integrated if your world has it? So what I do for like cyberpunk-esque things, it's how integrated the technology is for different facets of society. Same with magic, kind of thing. So is it an everyday thing? Is it a little bit more controlled? That kind of elements. I really lean towards heck tech on my kind of more fantasy TTRPGs. If I'm in cyberpunk kind of stuff with like Netrunner and stuff, um, I will I focus more on the kind of everyday life elements and how tech has been integrated into that. Um, I find that also helps shape society and shapes how everyday people exist. And it also kind of then also informs your party about how magic exists in this world or how the tech is integrated into everyday life kind of thing. It informs them for their classes and how their characters may react. It really gives them a little bit more of that kind of element. Um, and when you're thinking about how the magic integrates with the world and with people that live there, you start thinking about the people. What is their everyday life like? What is this kingdom to this kingdom like? Is it conflict? Like, is there a bit of conflict? Do they have different ideals? Does one have more hex tech than the other? How much magic is involved? What's their kind of like uh major beliefs and everything? Now, I don't at this stage I'm not looking to put down landmarks or draw the borders myself just at this point. This is more kind of coming up with ideas about the different kingdoms and how they would work together and kind of thing. It's just to kind of brainstorm ideas for them specifically because you'll want to start moving that down a little bit further, kind of thing. So and also with it when your characters are building sorry when your party are building characters and everything, you may want to give them a little bit of control over where they are and where they're doing. So at this stage I'm not specifically putting down flags. I'm putting maybe names to places that I have ideas for, and then I'll specifically focus on them. I may do that in another story or another video specifically on how I build kingdoms and draw maps and draw lines, or the borders and plant flags kind of thing. Um, but I think it really helps you kind of by thinking about the people. You think about the stories of the people, and that then brings you to essentially conflicting, like threats to those people. And then it brings me to the big bad. Um, what do I do? What do I want to do with the big bad? Do I want them mortal or do I want them, extraplanial, like outsider, void, demon, god kind of thing? So I have mortal and then non-mortal kind of decision to make. And I find that with mortals, um, their goal isn't to destroy the world. It's generally to take it over or revenge. Um, if the world is to be destroyed by them, it's generally part of a plan. It's part of a process. And that process can be like, I need to destroy the world to remake it in the image that I want. I want to summon my deity or my god or my the thing I worship to the world, and they may destroy it. Their goal might be to destroy it and lay claim over the region or over the aftermath kind of thing. Um, that is yeah. So as I said, it's part of the process, part of the plan, but not the end goal. Kind of thing. For the mortal person. So, I never find destroying the planet or destroying the world specifically. I don't see a lot of people wanting to do it. The organizational skills and stuff like that to be able to achieve that, it gets a little bit harder. Um, I think Joker is pretty much the only character, or one of the very small group of characters that actually has like the organization skills to be able to possibly destroy the world, but generally they have help, kind of thing. So, um, you may want to narrow it down to destroying a kingdom, destroying a region, destroying something like that. Um, but yeah, it's mostly not about destroying the whole planet. A outsider or kind of demigod or something like that that can be their idea. That's fine to them. They don't live there. They're not, tethered to the world or anything like that. So essentially, all bets are off for what they want to do. I do think that petty revenge, as in you need to kind of put up the scale of what their revenge would be if you're deciding to do that. Like it would be an epic hero, a legendary hero, or another god, another demon, another there has to be something on their level that they would want to like have revenge against. They can't just be like, I want revenge against like this small group of people, kind of thing. It doesn't make sense for a creature or a deity or entity to me at that scale or at that level being like, I really hate that group of people. They haven't done anything to me, but I hate them specifically. It just I can't compute it. So I tend to put it that it's either an epic hero that has died in legends that's either imprisoned them or taken some of their power away. It's another deity, another god, another demon, another outsider, something like that. If it's specifically for revenge. If it's a plan to like take over the world or destroy the world and remake it in its image or escape the prison of the world or anything like that, it's easier to kind of play as rituals and destroy, kind of thing. So that's my choices. I'll go a little bit more into depth into each one of those if I choose a mortal one, kind of what my thought process about what their overall plan generally is, what's the paths and stuff. Um, and if it's an outsider or a demon or a god, how I think about what their plan is, kind of thing. Um, the next stage is essentially talking about kind of like outlining a little bit of how the plan works. Though, so like I kind of generally plan it out, and I do a thing where I specifically plan it out as if the party members haven't done anything to disrupt it. So like if the party members didn't exist, how would this plan play out, kind of thing, and kind of you start thinking of milestones and little elements and stuff that kind of build into the kind of the final days or the final goal moments of their plan. And as I said, I'll do another video on specifically thinking about that. But I think having a pathway of how their plan would pan out without interruption is a very nice thing to have, because then when I'm thinking of because then when I'm playing, when I'm DMing the game, I have two paths. I have the path in which the big baddie is going to win. Their plan is going to work, and this is how it works out and everything. And then the other one is how the party disrupts it. So you kind of have a template of kind of the milestones and you know, um, where things are meant to go, and then over here you have like the path in which the party members have disrupted it, and you kind of weave and bend and try to bring like you're actively trying to bring it back to the milestones in other ways, against the will of the party and the events of which led them up there. So I find that that's really helpful, planning sessions and planning the overall kind of arcs and everything. Um, when you plan out that path of how it would succeed, you then think of the organization essentially to help out. So you're gonna have cult members and bandits and believers and people that they've press ganged into their employ and creatures and stuff that have aligning goals or similar goals. I enjoy putting in like a secondary big bad who like is helping out in some ways, but really kind of like the Starscream Decepticon who kind of wants to take over the organization and of the Decepticons, backstabber kind of thing. So like I like putting them in because it kind of puts in a little bit of conflict and turmoil. There's a character, because you can't have not everybody in an organization, um especially like a bad, like evil incorporated or everything, is going to share the same specific goal as the main person. So it's good to have like one or two other powerful people, not as powerful as your main body, but other people who have their own schemes and ideas about what they want to do, because it's interesting, because then you have those characters within the organization that the party members may kind of negotiate and liaise and stuff, kind of thing. Uh, and I find that kind of interconflict kind of interesting, and how much the party will lean, or how much they'll just go, "No, you're evil, we're killing you," or anything like that. So I always find that kind of interesting kind of conflict. But the reason why I think of the organization of how the big baddie is doing what they're doing is because when you're starting with level 1 characters, they're not going straight into, the elite of the organization. They're going to be on the fringes, and so far in the fringes, kind of thing, that they become niggling. You need to build up the threat that the party is against the organization, or at least your party should be, kind of thing. Because you could start them off with, like, their village is under attack. They go deal with the attackers being bandits, or tribesmen that hate them, or some kind of conflicted group against the village. And then you could learn that the fact is that, it turns out that the group who's attacking the village are being driven out of their area, or they're being press ganged into attacking areas, kind of thing, by this other group. And then you follow the chain up to the big baddie, kind of thing. And as you go up the chain, I put in, like, I guess, levels of the organization, in which once they get there, someone of higher power may take note of the group. So, like, you can have, like Star Wars, you have like the commander, of a ship getting annoyed at that group, and it goes further up until eventually you get to the emperor himself, kind of thing. So you have, like, you know a local planetary governor, like a town, mayor, then a local planetary governor, to, like, a local, like, sector commander, to, a larger military. You need to build up the chain of command, and as you do, more powerful people need to take note of your party and then cause conflict. It means that there's always a drive there to keep, you're facing people who are a little bit stronger, but also a little bit further up the chain, kind of thing. So it's always good to keep that conflict going with the group, I find. And it also makes it easy to kind of introduce the world, from a kind of narrowed in view for the group. And as they start facing the wider kind of bad guys, you can start kind of bringing out the scope of the world, and kind of bringing the rest of it in. Because, like, you want it, that's like, they're facing a village, they want to save a village, then they want to save a town, then they want to save a region, then they want to save a kingdom, then they want to save the world. It increases the stakes for that party, kind of thing. So yeah, so that's kind of my overall process. The overall arcing process is, I think about the world's state, the history and the events that lead to that state, the integration of essentially the main factor, kind of, or the X factor of the world, magic or tech, or hex tech, kind of thing. That leads me to thinking of the people, how their lives are, regions and kingdoms a little bit, kind of thing. And then it brings me to the big bad, and what they're, or either they're mortal or they're non-mortal, then what their plan is, and then the organization to back that, kind of thing. And then from there, since I have kind of as I said, the pathway of how the big baddie is going to achieve their goals, from there you can start planning sessions and things about building it up, kind of thing. So what I might do is, yeah, I'll break that process down into more detailed videos. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to leave it there. Comment down below if you like this. Ask any questions that you like as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you later. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, all the kind of do's, kind of thing. And I'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Bye bye.